What's up? It's time for our finale of Locked In. We're here with Waterboy Joe. We've got Nick over here. Unfortunately, Sean Asp is sick, so he can't make it tonight. And the studio's there, so there goes Dane as well. But we are looking forward to recapping how everything went. We spent about 3-ish weeks together working on your mental game, and then it all came to head at the Cleveland Open. So yeah, I can't wait to hear your experience and how it all went. We got to kind of talk back and forth during the day, but nobody else got to hear. So let us know.
Yeah, so real quick, fill everyone in on how much time you guys spent together.
I just said 3-ish weeks.
I know how much time though.
Oh, okay. Well, we had 3-hour sessions that you guys could watch on YouTube. Yep. And then on Voxer, we communicated fairly regularly.
What's Voxer?
It's like a texting app.
So were you texting during tournaments?
Yeah, there were some tournaments, or if I was practicing, I'd take a screenshot, send it to her. This is how it went. Or I'd send, it was cool. You could even send like a voice memo, I think like up to a minute. So there'd be like, hey, had practice, did this, this, and this. And then she would respond pretty timely and say, hey, instead of doing this, why don't you try practicing this way? And it was a really nice, very convenient way to communicate back and forth.
Okay. I just wanted to get that all out there for the viewers on what kind of relationship, contact there was over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I like having that support because when I've done one-on-one sessions traditionally, which is, like meet once a week for an hour or every other week for an hour, there's all that time in between. And so what would happen is I would get to the sessions and I'd be like, so how was your week? And they'd be like, so, and I'm like, okay, they've already forgotten. Like it's been, too many days. And I would rather just talk about things in the moment. And also I know when I've worked with people, practitioners and healers and coaches, it's like I have stuff come up and I wish I could just tell them then. Now I have to try to remember it for our session. And anyway, so that's why I do it that way, so that you guys have access in real time and I get back to you within 24 hours at the max.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, anybody watching, recommend. You're still doing your discount for today, or no, that was yesterday. It ended, right?
Yeah, it's done.
So yeah, hopefully the people watching took advantage of that. I know I hopped on at least for one, possibly in a few other additional months here coming up because, like you said, it was 3 weeks, give or take. And the amount of strides that I took in that short amount of time, I was like, yeah, something's working. So I'm going to keep rolling with it. So, I mean, that's definitely kudos to you for breaking things down in a way that I was able to apply to the game of cornhole and life in general. I mean, obviously it's cornhole heavy, but there's a lot of juxtaposition between cornhole and life that you can obviously take from both. So again, kudos, definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, no, kudos to you because you did it, right? I could talk, but you actually took the information and ran with it, and you did really, really well. So yeah, talk to us a little bit about how Cleveland went for you.
Cleveland was awesome. Friday night was the blind draw, and typically with that, I just kind of went in there with the mentality, hey, let's get used to these board speeds because we had kind of talked about how they play a lot slower than maybe your Thursday, Wednesday night leagues do, give or take. So wanted to take the time to kind of get those. Had a really good partner from Cincinnati, AJ, really good dude. So we just got to throw in and ran into the dude I shot against. He was hot. And so we lost our first game, but I think I threw just under a 9. But the dude I was throwing, he wasn't missing. He was very comfortable in his game. So, and then game 2, threw a little bit better. Still the person I threw against threw a little bit better. So I was like, not really upset about that. Again, just wanted to kind of get the feel for the boards and everything, but there was never an instance where frustration, anger, heat, like that kind of emotion never came over top of me. And that was the biggest thing probably over just the 3 weeks in general leading up to Cleveland. I love the game of cornhole again. There wasn't like a really strong hate to it, but I took it way too serious, much like I'm sure a lot of people do. You know, the whole every bag's got to be in or got to throw a 10 point something, 11 point something. And it's like, just relax and throw the bag. And if you're trying your hardest, you're not intoxicated. If you have practice and everything, and it's not your bad if you miss a bag. It's going to happen. So that really resonated with me. And throughout the entire week of Cleveland into doubles and singles, there was never a frown. I was smiling the entire time, no matter what the score was.
Enjoyed your whole weekend, it sounds like.
Yeah,
Yes.
because Joe, so many people tell me when they say this, like, just have fun. They're like, I can't have fun if I'm not playing well. I can't have fun if I'm not winning.
Yeah, and I was in that boat, and there's probably still a 10% part of me that, yes, I want to throw that 10.5 every game, and I want to win 21-2 and just wipe the floor with everybody. But realistically, that's not going to happen because, I mean, even on the pro level, you know, just seeing what they're throwing, I mean, you have to scroll and scroll and scroll to find somebody who throws in the nines at the pro level. And even at the tier 1, tier 2 level, I mean, you're scrolling and scrolling to find somebody who threw just a solid 9. So you have to go in there with realistic expectations that, like, look, I'm just going to throw my best game, which you reiterated to me all the time. That's the goal. Throw your best game, and the results will take care of themselves. And most of the time, that was the absolute case. And when I threw well and somebody threw even better, like, yeah, they played better that game. And there were other times where I lost to an opponent, and then my opponent the next game, they got their clocks cleaned. They went, you know, they started throwing like a 10-3 against me, and then they threw like a 7.5 the next game. And it's like, you're going to see both ends of the spectrum of that. I mean, there's going to be games where, yeah, the board's going to be muddy, and I'll throw my 7.5 to 8.5, and it's like, hey, that's just what it was. That was a good game, dirty. But then there's times you're going to run bags, and you'll be on the side where you're hitting everything, and you're going to shoot a 10, 11, and they're struggling to, you know, hit a 9. So just kind of relaxing and allowing your game to speak for itself really, really helped out, both in practice and during the weekend in Cleveland.
That's really cool. Do you think that your partner felt it?
Excellent point. Yes. So leading into Saturday, which was doubles with Zimmy, first game, I threw a 10-1-7, and he had thrown like a 7-8-3 or something like that. So there was, I mean, that was normally it was the flip side. Like, I had been struggling, and he was really carrying. So that first game,
do you remember how many rounds it was?
That one, game 1, I'm sure I could find it. I'll do a little digging while I'm doing that. Because there were some games.
Just wondering how the sample size is all.
Absolutely. No. And that's also a good point. So this is Rounders. I will hit on the tournament schedule, search my name.
You could give me a guesstimate, bud.
This was your first ACL tournament, right? Like,
yeah. As far as doing the doubles, yes.
Yeah.
And
but you've done a handful or a lot of ACL regionals. What would you say?
Yeah, most of them are. I mean,
how many ACL regionals have you played
this year alone? Probably 7 or 8, give or take.
Yeah,
and actually, it might be more because, I mean, I'm thinking like just kind of local in like the Pittsburgh area, but I'm also on a traveling team, so I've gone out to Williamsport. I've gone out to Poconos and out near Scranton and everything. So, so there was all of that going on. Here we go.
About how big is the field there at your local regional?
So probably doubles wise, 24 teams.
Oh, that's a good
give or take, maybe 30. And that's usually
tier 1.
Tier 1 and tier 2. So that's the other thing too, is, I mean, obviously according to CPI, I'm still technically a tier 2 player, but because a lot of the places around here don't have tier 2, they just combine. So in my mind, I'm just going to throw tier 1 is how I see it now. This weekend doubles, I'm playing tier 1, and then singles, depending on how it goes there, I might go to tier 2. Just depending on how I'm feeling confident wise and everything. But anything else, I tend to I tend to just throw tier 1. So that no, that's so that first game 10-1-7.
Maybe the doctor needs to chime in on that whole comment about whether or not he's going to play tier 1 or tier 2.
No, I mean he's got a vibe with that because he's a what you call it, a fringe, like where you're on the fringe of both. So it's kind of like it's difficult. It really depends on how your club runs, you know, because if like as a director, I would tell someone like, no, you got to go tier 1, or like you can play tier 2. Like it just kind of is the vibe for sure.
Right. And I was going to play tier 2 on Sunday in Cleveland. But based on how I was throwing, how I was feeling, I went to the table and was like, hey, am I able to get bumped up to tier 1 for Sunday and refund the tier 2, build for the tier 1? And so I made that switch too. Because again, I was feeling pretty good. That first game, so it went only 6 rounds, but I threw my 4-bagger percentage was 50%. So
nice.
I was feeling pretty good.
And there's your partner right there. He chimed in the chat.
Yeah, he said, he was just trying to get me the bags. And then on the second game, I threw like an 8-6-3, and he threw a 10-1-3. So there was a lot of complimentary playing between the two of us.
Seems like one of you guys usually knows how to carry the other.
Get hot and
and I'm still waiting for us when we're both cooking, because man, that's going to be scary. And then so we went 2-0 during rounders, then we went 2-1, played a really good team, and then I think that's when I actually messaged you, Mish, because I think I was over a 9, and then I was like an 8-7 something after 3 games, and I was like, my goal is to get back above a 9. So game 4, I threw a 10-6 over 10 rounds. Game 5, I threw a 10-2.
Now, are you just trying to run bags, or are you playing a little bit dirty at times?
So my game strictly there, I was trying to run bags.
Okay.
And cool. I went to the I think.
What bags are you throwing?
We were throwing his Reynolds Pro HXs.
Okay.
Or Pro XHs. And
Gotcha.
I flipped it and went straight slick side.
Okay. Jamie, gotcha.
Jamie Graham, Matt got, it was if I wanted to throw my cut shot, or if I was purposely throwing a block, I flipped it over, because when I was throwing, they were sitting pretty hard for me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to flip it over. And I tell you what, doing that, my push game now just over that weekend has improved, because I'm used now to just throwing slick side. So anytime there was a blocker, I was cleaning that up without even thinking about it, because my line had to be straight. And so it was a lot of fun. Yeah. So I typically am going to run bags unless I see that my opponent has a sticky bag, and then which case, if he's going to try to block and throw left or right, then I'm going to punish them by missing, if he misses his block or she misses their block, I'm going to punish them by going around them and then shooting my shots. But typically just kind of ran it with the stick side.
Wally's talking trash in the chat to you.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice to see partners support each other. Nick is my partner, and he's still never thrown a tournament with me.
I love him so much, though.
So you ended rounders, I think, what'd you say? Was it 4-2?
Yeah, 4-2. So we did make tier 1, which was cool, because there was a big group of us from Pittsburgh, and I think 2, possibly 3 out of that group made tier 1.
That was a huge field, so making tier 1 is pretty amazing in that field.
Yeah. And there wasn't one game where I was like, this was easy. I mean, the competition showed up in Cleveland.
And just to remind our listeners who may not know, at these opens, if you're 1-0 in rounders, your next game is against somebody that's 1-0.
Yep.
If you're 3-1, your next game against is somebody that's 3-1. So you're always going against what is somebody that's either equal or better or a little worse every round. Just because of how they do that they make sure every round finishes before they start the next round. And then that's how it goes. So it's not like you get to play a bunch of teams that only won one game or they didn't win any or something like that. Every time you play, you're playing someone of that round of equal record.
No, that's a really good point because I wasn't aware of that at all. I love that because then it literally narrows it down. You're only going to have a handful of people that go 6-0. And then
And
you'll
that's
have
why
the
everyone
other.
at 4-2, that's really impressive because you climb that ladder and you beat really good teams along the way. That's why you're tier 1.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. So that felt. I mean, that was a small accomplishment in and of itself. And then once we did get to the bracket play, it didn't go definitely quite as good as the rounders. I don't know if we forgot how to throw, but but that was actually, instead of both of us cooking, we both kind of cooled off a little bit, and went, like I said, went 0-2, and the competition was just. I'm trying to. I don't even really remember it all happened like so fast. Which again, that's kind of another thing is like you spend all this time training, but then if you have a couple bad rounds here and there, you look at the score and it's 12-0. I should probably start playing now or something like that. It's insane how locked in some people get quickly, and then other times it takes a second to realize, okay, it's really time to lock in, and it's go time.
When we talked about this with your regional, you mentioned that you had a game where it kind of just like you blinked and it was over.
Yes.
And that is something I think that we will continue to work on, is just really cultivating full presence, because it's the same thing when you're a parent and everybody tells you, oh, it goes by so fast, enjoy every moment. And I think the reason why that is always said is because we get so busy as humans and we get stuck in our heads and we miss what's right in front of us. And then before you know it, the kid's all grown up and you feel like you kind of missed everything. And at least my goal as a parent is to try to be as present as possible so that I don't feel that way. So I'd never feel like, oh my God, it just flew by and I missed everything. And so with cornhole and performance and high pressure situations, it's an overwhelming experience for the nervous system. So it's only natural that it's either going to check out or check in. And for most of us, it's a checking out. It's like it's too much. It's overstimulating, and so you just kind of like suppress or numb it a little bit, and then before you know it, you're like, holy shit, it's round 12, and I'm down 10 points. What happened? So that is literally just cultivating presence. But the cool thing about that is that you can practice that at every moment of your day. Like you don't need cornhole to practice presence.
No, that's perfect. And actually that's kind of a good transition because then came singles on Sunday, and then first game was good. I think it went 15 rounds. Won my first game, shot a 9-8, but in my head, I was calling a timeout. I wanted to call a timeout for the guy I was playing against. He threw 2 5s back to back and spotted me 10 points in 2 rounds. So after the first one, I was like, okay, he needs to have a reset. And then he threw another 5, and I was like, okay, he needs to call a timeout. And he didn't. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going. But it was just funny because I
You're
was
like, dude, you need help.
yes, I was trying to, and he was, oh, it was the bags, and it was, oh, they're hopping too much and this and that, like everything that I know that I have done in the past. And I was just kind of like, obviously I wasn't going to call a timeout and say, hey, do you need a minute, bro? But like, I'm glad I didn't, because then he got kind of hot, and then I got kind of hot, and I, like I said, ended up beating him. But that was good competition. So that was good. Up until we had done this, I hadn't won a tier 1 singles game ever. And then my first regional, I think I went 3-2 or 2-2 or something. And I messaged you. That was awesome. And the people that I lost to were 2 pros at my regionals. So I was like, cool. If you're going to lose to Lucas Householder and Chucky Love. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's okay. And then second game, which is where I was going with this dude was hitting every shot, and I was almost like in awe watching him play against me.
Yeah.
And it was 18-0 by the time I realized, oh, maybe I should try something, So I took my reset and I actually started throwing a couple blockers, and he was trying to roll and his roll wasn't going. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to clean this up. So it was 18-7, so was able to build a comeback. He got to 20. I got to 11 and was starting to build a comeback, and then it ended. But I thought if maybe when he got to 8-0 or something, if I had stopped the bleeding a little sooner, maybe it would have had a different outcome instead of spotting him 18 points and then deciding, hey, let's play cornhole.
Well, or at least icing him, right? Like
something exactly. Yeah, I don't believe. Yeah, and I know
you didn't give up. The resiliency and the comeback is like the
hardest part.
That's the win.
Yes, yeah, and again, I would have looked at 18-0, and I would have probably just shot airmails and said, all right, I'm just going to take the loss or something like that. But as soon as I scored a point, I was like, I think I even told him, I was like, yes, it's not a naked lap. Like I scored a point on you. So, then it just kind of, I was smiling. I was having a good time, even though I was down 18-4, whatever the case was. But
we talked about this, Joe, right? We talked about you do this because it's challenging.
Yes.
So when you have a challenge, when you're down 18-0, that is the most challenging. So that you should embrace that. You should be excited for that, because why else do you do this? You wouldn't do it if you made every bag in and it was easy every time you play. You want it to be challenging. So we kind of reframed how we look at when we're in those moments. It's like, well, here comes a fun challenge for me. Look what I did.
Yes. Oh, and and you had, I think you shared somebody I should follow on social media. I think he's a coach.
Oh my God, what is his name? Steve Mangress, I think is his name.
I think so. And one of his quotes came up, and he was talking about a study that they did about elite athletes and non-elites. And it's like up until their meets, their game, whatever it was, they all exemplified the same kind of heartbeat, excitement, nervousness. It's just the non-athlete was like, oh man, these nerves, and
bad.
And they felt threatened, which I know you use that verbiage too. Whereas the elite was like, yo, let's go. They named their adrenaline. They named their their heartbeat, so that they knew hey, what's up, heartbeat? I'm ready to go. Are you? And they felt more comfortable in the same situation that a non-athlete did. So now I've kind of copied and pasted that into my repertoire to be like, look, everyone's feeling the same thing, but I can either be threatened by it, like you had mentioned, or I can embrace it. This is it's not bad. It's not a bad feeling. It's not a scary feeling. It can be if I allow it to be, but I'm not allowing it to be. And so just kind of changing up that mindset too. It really helped. It really did.
Yeah, that's such a huge reframe, because we talked about the performance state, and that just means you're ready to perform. So if you felt asleep when the game started, that would be horrible. A, it wouldn't be fun, and B, you're not a human, not alive. What are we doing?
Yes, and that triggered a memory. So one of the reasons why I think we struggled a little bit when it got to bracket play for doubles was because the time between the last couple games and getting the bracket set up was a lot longer than your regular. So we were kind of sitting there, and you don't want to wear yourself out throwing, but you're also, you want to stay loose, but at the same time, you're trying to stay in that zone, but you're hanging out with friends, you're socializing, maybe grabbing something to eat, but then it's time to go. And it's like, oh yeah, we got to go throw bags, and trying to figure out the lull of between games was was also a struggle or a new challenge, I should say. That's something that I want to be able to focus on, because I know tomorrow we have our Keystone State tournament tomorrow. So I know there's going to be a lot of waiting. I mean, there's a blind draw followed by doubles, followed by the teams event. And there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of waiting. So to be able to kind of manage that well tomorrow is going to be a challenge.
Well, you see in other sports, like when they are entering the field, right? There's like they amp up, right? Or like in martial arts, right? There's the walk in, like, so you're kind of having to simulate that every time, because for our sport, it's not a enter and then compete. It's compete, stop, compete, stop, compete, stop.
Right.
So, and I don't know what it's like for like benches, because I've never played on like team sports, but you guys have. So like if you're sitting on the bench and they get called in, do you like jump up and like do something?
Well, like tournaments, like Rome's tournaments, for instance, he fights in jiu-jitsu and then he waits for his next match and then he
Yeah, but I'm
fights.
talking, but in like team sports, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're the sixth man coming off a bench in basketball, I mean, you warmed up with the team and everything, but you're sitting there chomping at the bit. And as soon as they go, I mean, you can't really stretch. You can go over to the table and, before check in, maybe get a little stretch, but you have to go in there semi cold, be ready to go, because, the sub might have been, 5 or 6 minutes into the game and everybody else was fresh because they just warmed up, but you have to be able to go at that time. So I guess, yeah, in a way, you got to be able to channel your performance from your warm-ups to the next game.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you guys have actually faced this in other sports. It just looks different.
Mhm.
Unless you play the whole game, which I don't think any sport does that, right? You're chomping at the bit on the bench. And then, but I know in like football and stuff, when they first enter, like it's like a whole thing. You run out in the field and it's like all this energy. And then if you're going to play right that moment, you're probably going to be great, right? You're like ready to go. But if you then head to the bench and then you get called in, I mean, with like kickers, they're practicing their kicks before.
Yep.
So I think pitchers are the same way, right? And if you're going to be up for bat, aren't you like batting before? I think there's a lot of this showing up in other sports. So I would just be kind of looking at what you've done in the other places and like, how do I get myself like in the performance state when I've had to sit? Because it's definitely happened.
Love it. That's a good point. Real good point.
Yeah. So it's not just cornhole. Our days are just really long is the difference. You don't play football for 14 hours or basketball for 14 hours, but you could be playing cornhole for 14 hours. So
100%.
Yeah. Otherwise it's actually more similar than we think.
Yeah.
Your straight double limb blind draw.
Let's see what Matt said. He said bench players have a huge impact on momentum. Cornhole's difficult because every game is isolated with tons of distractions, but no one's cheering you on. That's why I love the teams events. Me too, Matt. And I agree. That is right. Yeah. It's just you quietly playing your game. You don't have like a cheering squad and the sound of the arena and
you feel definitely cornhole teams. You feel a different energy.
Oh yeah,
for sure behind those players, because now they have all these other pros that are taking interest when usually they don't.
Yeah. Everyone's
they will competitor. If it's just their doubles partner.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're just focused on themselves for the most part. But when it's like, how many people are on the team? It's like a
10.
dozen. So 10.
No, 8, so 6, 7, 8.
Let's call it 10.
Okay.
It's just so much more energy, now of 8 people or 9 people rooting for one or 8 people rooting for 2. It's cool.
No, I kind of prefer that too. Like I'm usually part of one of our crew cup teams for our Pittsburgh team, and I mean that's a whole nother animal in and of itself, just because you're throwing one bag at a time. You only get 2 bags, and it's
crew cup is its own game.
It's. I mean, I love it because I mean the margin of error. Like you have 2 bags, you got to make every single one of those bags count,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, you could kind of say, hey, I have 4 bags, need to make every single one of these ones count. But just something about rotating. And then, if you're the second person throwing, you're like,
there's no rhythm.
No.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not a big fan, because I can't get into any kind of rhythm. So it makes it difficult for sure. But yeah, crew cup, I'd say, is its own game.
So right now, do you prefer singles over doubles, or what are you preferring right now to play?
That's actually a really good question. I'm probably going to stick with doubles is as my favorite. Again, mostly just because of the guy I'm paired with. Tanner
Are you playing with
is
Tanner this weekend too?
Yep. Yep. We will be playing doubles together. And he's kind of, well, he was on the same. He's just right above the CPI cutoff. So he's technically tier 1 now because he's been playing so well. And I'm just right below it. So I told him, I was like, look, dude, if you have another tier 1 person in mind and you want to go throw with them, I'll throw tier 2 doubles, whatever you want to do. And he's like, no, dude, let's run it. So we're going to go out there and in tier 1 and try to tear it up as best we can.
Are your guys dynamic? He's the A and you're the B in your team?
I would say 7 times out of 10, yes. But I'm hoping to get to the point where it's like we're just throwing bags back and forth to each other because we know the other person's got it no matter what. But there are still times when, because we'll use his bags and he's more comfortable throwing them in like singles and stuff.
Yeah.
He knows how they're going to react pretty much on every
so he's
board.
got a slight advantage when it comes to equipment. Now, do you guys practice together? Do you live close by?
Unfortunately, we do not. He's out in the middle of the state towards Altoona, and I'm closer to Pittsburgh. So he'll make a trip every now and then for a regional or for our team's event. We'll usually always throw together.
Okay, but when you guys play, it counts. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
you guys don't ever get to play when it doesn't count.
Not really, no. And I mean, that's kind of how our relationship started. We were both intermediate throwing singles against each other, and we're like, I think we're a little better than intermediate. Let's see if the director will bump us up to competitive. And so we did get the bump, and then we would go back and forth, and then we played against each other a couple different times in doubles. And then he was like, you know what? He's like, why don't we just like team up, dude? Like, let's really try to. And we've done really, really well.
So you're saying he asked you out?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Right.
Yeah.
Tanner,
the door open for me and everything. I love it. It's
you really in the chat, Tanner? Is this true?
Tanner said that it's your birthday too. Is it your birthday coming up?
Tomorrow is my birthday.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
So our son's birthday was last Saturday, so his birthday party is tomorrow. So
fantastic.
She was obviously working where you were last weekend. So we pushed his birthday party to your birthday.
To your birthday. Couple of Tauruses, huh?
How old is he going to be?
He turned 11.
11? Oh, I remember 11, I think.
Yeah, it's fun. But no, all in all, I'm just really, really proud of your commitment and your progress, and obviously very coachable, and took direction well. And your success is because of how well you were able to take information and apply it. And so yeah, the success is all because of that. So you should be really, really proud. I know I am.
I appreciate that. And I actually wrote down a couple stats too, just from the past 3 weeks. So these are numbers from my locals, Wednesday night, Thursday night, which I'm glad we brought that up earlier on, because initially I was using those to like, I got to win, got to do this. And we changed the mentality of, look, have fun those nights.
Yeah.
And practice what you plan on doing in the regionals, in the open, the signatures, whatever the case is. And just doing that, I mean, my average was probably 8.5 with my ceiling being a 9. Just over the past few weeks, I've ended each local event 9.26, 9, 9.09, 10.17, 10.08. With an average of 9.52. So
that was our goal, right? Didn't we set it right around there?
Yeah. I think for doubles, I think it was 9.75, just because I'm not throwing as much, but singles, a 9.52. So now I've taken what was my ceiling, and that's kind of now my floor. So a 9 is like, it's kind of an off night, you know what I mean? And 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a 9 would have been like, yo, I'm watch out. Like it's
Here I
funny to
come.
think that way, but now it's like now I've raised that ceiling. We talked about that, raising the ceiling to like more of a 10-2-5, 10 and a half. And if I can get there, then I'll average out at a 10 and so on and so forth. But and again, anybody watching who's you're on the fence, you're like, is it really worth it? Like I said, 3 weeks and I've gone up, my average has gone up one whole PPR. So that's one more bag on the board, or however you want to look at it. So you might think some of it may be mechanics, obviously, if you're just starting out. But if you're somebody who feels like you're there, but you just need that extra push, I can't recommend this enough. I know you also just dropped a book as well not too long ago. So check that out. But for real, like if you want to invest in yourself, I mean, you got to be able to do it the right way. I mean, if you want to invest in golf, you're not just going to go to a garage sale and pick up a set of clubs and expect to break 80. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to put time and effort into equipment. You're going to put time and effort into your game. And for the most part, mechanics wise, you can find bags, you can find boards, pretty regularly, but to find somebody who's able to kind of tap into your brain and figure out why you do the things you do and how to rethink things. I mean, 10 out of 10, Mish. Like, seriously, this has been definitely. I'm gonna keep pushing this on people if they're, even if they're questioning. I'm like, look, try it for a month, try it for 2 months. You know what I mean? And as long as you apply what she's telling you, I mean, the sky's the limit for as much. Like I said, I was able to do this for 3 weeks. I'm hopping on for at least another month to 3 months, budget willing and everything. So because I know that it's working, and if that can happen in 3 weeks or less, imagine what 2.5 to 3 months can do. It's going to be a good summer, I have a feeling.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And thank you for saying all that. It's been so fun to work with you. And it's true. The more time we get, the more we can expose the weaknesses, right? So that's why a lot of our sessions, I was like, tell me all the things you anticipate happening so we can try to get ahead of them. But for the most part, it takes time to expose, like, oh, this happened in a game and I didn't know what to do, or I didn't like how I responded. So like those things have to happen so they can come to the surface and then we can address them. But we try to anticipate as many of those as we can to get prepared, because your patterns. But sometimes there's those one-offs. You're like, that one surprised me. I wasn't prepared for that response. So we'll be able to keep uncovering those as we spend more time working together. But yeah, this is it's just been so much fun. So I appreciate your commitment and your time.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
All right. And everyone that's heading. Oh, by the way, Matt Wilson said happy birthday and good luck in your tournament.
Thank you, man.
But yeah, everyone who's been tuning in, thank you so much for joining us. If you didn't see the previous coaching sessions with Joe, they're up on the YouTube. So you can go back and watch some of the things we talked about. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thank you for the Matt Wilson for your comments too. That's awesome. And Joe, we're rooting for you, bud.
Absolutely. Always keep drinking water.
Cheers. Stay hydrated, my friends.
Stay hydrated. And then
H2O.
H2O, not Gatorade.
Not Gatorade.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.